Hey, welcome back. My name is Jay Oza. I teach, mentor, and coach people on public speaking so that they can give winning high stakes speeches, whether it's for a job interview, a business or sales meeting, or even at a conference in front of a lot of people. Today I have a thought of the day, and it has to do with starting your business. A person just asked me, "Hey, Jay, I would like to start a business the way you're doing. Uh, what do I do?" And I thought about that question, and I'm not sure I really answered this correctly with him. I kind of give him, the standard thing like you gotta have passion, you gotta really do this, you gotta do that, things that everybody says. But then I thought about it, and I kind of felt bad that I didn't really tell him what's really involved. What's really involved is this: starting a business, you gotta love what you're gonna do, and to the point where money can't be that important, because if you're focusing on money, you're not going to stick to it. Because a lot of times when you're starting a business, you're not really going to make money. So you got to make sure you have some backstop, whether it's your spouse income, whether your savings, whether somebody's going to, you can borrow money from your parents or whoever. There's got to be a backstop. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult. You're going to make bad decisions. That's what happens when you don't have that safety net. You end up making bad decisions. I know people always say, well, you got to do it with less. Well, that's given, but you do need some support there. Without that, it gets to the point where your brain is going to focus on, you know, I need to make money. I need to make money. And yes, that's what people say, but your brain can't operate that way. You're going to be under stress, and a lot of bad things will start happening, such as your diet's going to go all, haywire. You're going to start losing sleep. So the first thing is, make sure you have some safety net. Because when you start a business out of desperation, yes, there are people who succeed, but that's just not the ideal way to do it. The ideal way to do it is plan it. Plan on having a safety net, maybe 1 year, 2 years, where you're going to say, look, I got enough to pay the rent, to pay the bills. I don't know what it is. You have to calculate that. Could be maybe $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, or maybe more. But plan it. Maybe it's $100,000. But you got to have that safety net. I had that, and that made a big difference. Where I didn't have to be desperate and suddenly, abandon what I was doing and just go look for a job. At times I was tempted, but it's just then you're like in a no man's land. You're not sure whether you're going to be sticking to your business or whether you are looking for a job, and the people who are hiring you are going to get it anyway, that you're not really that committed. So be very careful. And even if you're committed and you take the job, you're not going to be happy. And then you're going to regret it that, hey, I didn't stick to it. So do this one thing. Have that safety net. Okay, assuming you have that. The second thing is, a lot of people don't give this thought. So I'm giving it by recording this video. The first is a safety net. Second is kind of a trade-off that people who have jobs don't understand. That when you're starting a business, you're working essentially 7 by 24 by 365. You're working every day. That's the bad news. The good news is you do get freedom. The freedom to decide when to work, when not to work. But believe me, when you have your own business, you're working all the time. Okay? The freedom you get is you can come in whenever you want, you can leave whenever you want. But at the end of the day, you are working. You're always thinking about your business. So you don't get the option like, hey, I'm just going to disappear on weekend and do this. Even if you're doing it, you're going to do it in a very selective manner. Like, hey, somebody wants you to come to a wedding. Maybe you can just go for the reception for a few hours. That's it. Somebody wants you to go to a game. Perhaps you can just show up for one inning, or stay for the opening and leave. Where you have to be there, family events, just show up for a little while and leave. These are the kind of decisions you're going to have to make, because you can't get your time sucked in, because every time you're not working, you're not going to get paid. In business, you're always on the clock. The people who have jobs, they can go to these parties on weekends because they get paid when they show up for work, and they're on salary. They get paid. You don't, and you got to keep that in mind. And that's something that's very hard for people to swallow when they look at me and they're saying, "Well, Jay, we would like to do what you're doing," and they're not doing what I'm doing right now. Today's a Saturday, and I'm recording this video. Today's a nice day out today. Okay, this is a middle of early July, just before July 4th. So I'm actually giving up my July 4th weekend working on things. A lot of people out there with jobs are partying. They're taking the entire weekend off and going out. And so what will I do for fun? I had my walk this morning, and later after I'm done doing some of the work here, I'll go and take my kids out for a walk. That's my fun time. That's it. The rest of the time, I'm here working on my business. And this is something that's very important for people to know, that when you have a business, you got to take your business seriously. And at the same time, it's something it's your business. You got to think it. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen. And that's a second thing. The third thing is that in business, in a way, it's kind of very lonely. You have to make a lot of these decisions yourself because there's nobody you can turn to. They don't know what you're going through. So what that means is you got to constantly learn new things. And if you're not in the mode of learning new things, then you're not going to succeed as a businessman. For example, you got to be able to read. You got to be writing. You got to be recording these type of videos. You got to know about marketing. You got to know about sales. Do you have to be an expert? In some areas, you do have to be pretty good at it. The expert is the business you're in, but that doesn't mean you just ignore and just say, like for example, and I learned this from example. I'm writing a book. I had to know all these things. I could have easily just gone, not easily, maybe I should take that word out, but let's say I could have gotten an agent and gotten somebody to publish my book. I wanted to get some understanding of what the process was so that the next one I can decide whether I want to do it through self-publishing or get a publisher. But now I know the process. I know how this is done. There is no substitute for that. In fact, you're better off paying somebody to help you understand the process. It's important you understand the process, whether it's marketing, sales, whatever. Pay the money, get the top person, help the person, let the person coach you or educate you on how to do it. That's worth more than just hiring somebody to do it, because then you're not going to know it, and you got to spend the time learning this thing. You got to read, you got to take courses, you got to go to seminars and things, you got to talk to other people. You got to do all of this. That's why I tell you that starting a business is not just, it's not glamorous, it's work. You got to enjoy what you're doing, otherwise you're not going to be successful. I have a coaching business. Coaching is just a part of it, but then all the work that I have to do to become an excellent coach, consultant, mentor, speaker, all that, that's never, nobody ever sees that. That's just me in this office doing it myself. Nobody gets to see that. I only get to see that. And you got to enjoy that. If you don't enjoy that, you can't really succeed in business. So those are the three things I just wanted to point out, because this is a question that comes up a lot. And I don't think I have time to give this type of an answer to people, but I just want to record this video to kind of tell people that there are three things I think are very important, because I don't know whether any business is going to be successful. It's a hit or miss type of thing. But the three things you absolutely must be ready to do is you got to have a safety net, so you stick to it for, let's say, 2 years, 3 years, that's necessary. Second is you got to work all the time. It's your business. There's no breaks here. If you don't view yourself as a 724 by 365 employee to your business, because you're thinking all the time, right? You may not be physically in the office, but you're always thinking about your business. You might see something saying, hey, I need to network. Hey, I need to do this. I need to maybe sell something. You're constantly working in one capacity or another when it's your business. So you have to think about your business 724 by 365. Third thing is you're in a constant learning mode. You're constantly in learning mode because that's your advantage, how fast and well you can learn. And often, if you can compress time by paying people, taking courses, or coaching you, it's worth it if it saves you time. But learning is something you got to do. And you got to know these things. You got to know all aspects of your business. Once you know it, then you can probably outsource it, because then you know exactly what you're looking for. Okay? I hope this clarifies, because a lot of people out there want to start a business, but nobody ever tells them the truth on what's really involved. And I wanted to kind of make this video because I'm kind of going through a lot of this pain. And later on, after you're successful, you give the standard answer, and they don't really help you. So I hope if you're thinking about business, it's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of, there's a lot of frustration in starting a business. But you got to enjoy what you're doing. If you enjoy it and you got the safety net, then down the line, money may take care of it. But you can't look at it and say, well, I want to become a rich millionaire, billionaire, etc. You don't control that. You just control the effort you're putting in, right? You heard that before. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or ideas, I'm always willing to listen, read about it. And good luck with your business, and give it a shot. Who knows?